Chapter 242. Who in the world would want to set her up? She has a face that people are willing to put in so much effort to set her up. Lin Jiej continued calling Shi Yao, but before he could make the call, another message from Lin Jiai appeared on the screen. You sure are treacherous. Treacherous to the point that it sends shivers down my spine. I'll leave you to the cold then. Ignoring Lin Jiai's message, Lin Jiej dialed Shi Yao's number. The phone rang for a long time but no one picked up. Just as Lin Jiej thought that Shi Yao wouldn't pick up his call, Shi Yao's voice suddenly sounded from the other end. Hello? Before the call connected, Lin Jiej had many things he wanted to ask Shi Yao. Are you alright? Are you feeling particularly sad? But when she picked up the call he found himself at a loss for words. Then Shi Yao's voice sounded once more. Lin Jiej? Lin Jiej blinked his eyes in confusion before asking, why haven't you picked up the call? Shi Yao, I've switched my phone to silent mode so I haven't been looking at it. I just took a glance at it earlier. Who? Lin Jiej heaved a sigh of relief. So that's the case, that? Noticing that Lin Jiej wasn't saying anything, Shi Yao spoke up once more. Is there something you need from me? Why did you call me so many times? For a moment, Lin Jiej didn't know what to say. Shi Yao's tone sounded normal. If he were to say that his sister had told her about Liang Mumu, would that expose her sadness? Lin Jiej fell into deep thought for a very long time. When he heard Shi Yao calling out Lin Jiej through the phone once more, he abruptly blurted out, "Don't you still owe me a meal?" After saying those words, Lin Jiej really wanted to bite his tongue off. What a pig's brain. Can't you find a better excuse? On the other end of the call, Shi Yao swiftly replied, "Oh, I didn't forget about it. You're calling me to ask for that meal back, right? Since I don't have anything on tonight, I'll treat you to a meal." Lin Jiej really didn't want to admit it, so he could only force himself to say, "All right then. Shi Yao, I'll choose a place then. Shall we meet there? Why don't you tell me where you are? I'll pick you up." Lin Jiej glanced at the electric scooter that he had borrowed, and after some thought he realized that it could still be considered a car. Thus he said, "I have a car." "I see. All right then," Shi Yao replied. After which she replied, "I'm at the entrance of KFC." There were hundreds of KFC in Beijing. How could he find her in front of a KFC? Lin Jiej, other than KFC, are there any other landmarks? Let me take a look. A second later Shi Yao replied, "And McDonald's, it's as good as not saying anything at all." Lin Jiej was rendered speechless. Seeing that Lin Jiej wasn't saying anything, Shi Yao added, "Other than McDonald's, there's also a Haagen-Dazs next to it, and right next to Haagen-Dazs is a Little Dien. Their milk tea is really delicious and it's almost dinner time, but there's still a long queue. Lady, are your so-called landmarks all food?" Chapter 243. Your soft bun, so you have the final say. Lin Jiej replied, "Sure." Lin Jiej paused for a moment before adding, "Take a picture of the road and send it to me." Shi Yao, "Sure, no problem." After hanging up the call 30 seconds later, Shi Yao sent over the picture she had taken. Lin Jiej tapped on Open University and a row of restaurants came into view. Is food always the only thing a glutton can see? If I were to stick snacks all over my body, would soft buns stare at me unblinkingly? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej zoomed in on the picture and finally he saw a landmark building. Only then did he figure out where Shi Yao was. To get to Shi Yao's place he would have to pass by the school. Lin Jiej pondered for a moment before calling his chauffeur to have him wait for him at the entrance of the school. It was a weekend, so Shi Yao's location wasn't too bad. It wasn't a gathering spot, so the traffic was smooth. Roughly 20 minutes later, Lin Jiej arrived at the Edian restaurant that Shi Yao had mentioned. Before he could even park his car, he had already caught sight of Shi Yao's silhouette through the car window. She was still queuing up and there was only one person in front of her. Lin Jiej parked his car by the roadside, grabbed his phone, got out and walked over to Shi Yao. As soon as he arrived by her side, he heard her sweet voice to the cashier. 2 large cups of milk green tea with a milk cap. The cashier swiftly placed the order for Shi Yao. That'll be a total of 40 renminbi. All right. Shi Yao replied as she lowered her head to take out her wallet. However, before she could reach her wallet, Lin Jiej had already fished out a 100 renminbi bill from his pocket and passed it to the cashier. "Take mine." Shi Yao was taken aback. She turned to look at Lin Jiege and said, We agreed that I'll treat you to milk tea. It's fine. Lin Jiege replied. He took the change and the bill from the cashier before heading to the counter by the side. Shi Yao followed behind Lin Jiege. As it was only 40 renminbi, Shi Yao didn't haggle over it with Lin Jiege. Nevertheless, she still thanked him. Lin Jiege didn't say a word, but his gaze kept darting to Shi Yao's face. Throughout the entire process, he was discreetly assessing her expression. She looked no different from usual. Her face, which rarely wore makeup, was white and clean, and her eyes were as clear as ever. However, if one were to look closely, one would be able to see that she was still in low spirits. Was he still affected by Liang Mumu? Seemed to be normal. The truth was always easy to say but difficult to do. It was said that they parted on good terms, that they shouldn't force it if they couldn't get it, and that they should cut the Gordian knot after betrayal. But when it came to realizing this truth, who wouldn't feel sad and sad? Some people in the end still needed time to calm down. After a while the milk tea was ready. Lin Jiege grabbed the milk tea and got into the car with Shi Yao. After Shi Yao fastened her seatbelt, Lin Jiege took out a cup of milk tea and inserted a straw into it before passing it over to her. What would you like to eat? Shi Yao took the milk tea and thanked him before asking, What do you want to eat? Lin Jiege, I'm fine with anything. Lin Jiege paused for a moment before adding, You're the one treating, so you have the final say. Chapter 244. Lin Jiege didn't have much of a tolerance for spicy food, so he nodded without any hesitation and replied, Sure. Shi Yao passed the phone over to Lin Jiege and said, Let's head to Shoe Garden then. This is the address. Born and raised in Beijing, Lin Jiege had a rough idea of where the restaurant was with just a glance. He blinked his eyes to indicate that he understood the address before starting the car. Along the way, Lin Jiege seemed to be focused on driving with his eyes focused on the road ahead, but in truth his mind was spinning non-stop. Even though he had found an excuse to say that she owed him a meal, he didn't really intend to make her treat him. But what could he do to make her pay the bill without making a single sound? Just as they were about to reach the restaurant, Lin Jiege glanced at Shi Yao's bag through the rearview mirror. If he were to hide her bag, she wouldn't be able to pay the bill. But her bag was too big, so it wouldn't be easy to hide it, right? Besides, she was definitely going to look for her bag when she got out of the car. So this idea was definitely not going to work. Lin Jiege raised his hand to cover his lips before turning his attention to Shi Yao's purse. Given how big her bag was, she would definitely be paying attention to it at all times, but the same couldn't be said for her purse. Lin Jiege thought for a moment before driving to the outermost side of the road. After finding the nearest exit, he drove off the main road and turned into an alley. The alley was filled with cars and bicycles, making it extremely difficult to drive on. After driving for a distance, the road ahead became too narrow for his car to pass, so Lin Jiege had no choice but to reverse and drive out of the alley. After reversing for a certain distance, he began circling around the same road as if he couldn't get out of there. One moment he was driving forward and the next moment he was driving backward. After repeating this process several times as if he was at his wit's end, he turned to Shi Yao with an apologetic look and asked, Can I trouble you to keep an eye on the road for me? Sure. Shi Yao didn't think that there was anything wrong with it at all, so she nodded and got out of the car. Lin Jiege rolled down the car window. He could have easily reversed out of the alley, but he kept asking, Can I go on the right? Can I go on the left? Is it okay for me to do this? Under Shi Yao's assistance and guidance, Lin Jiege successfully retreated to the entrance of the alleyway. After which he said, Move back a little further. I'm afraid that I might accidentally bump into you. When he saw that Shi Yao had really followed his instructions and retreated roughly 10 meters away, he swiftly reached his hand into Shi Yao's bag, which was on the passenger seat. The first thing he touched was a packet of jelly beans. The second time was Shi Yao's phone. The third time he touched an apple. Doesn't she think it's too heavy? Embarrassed, Lin Jiege tossed the apple back into his bag and continued searching. Eventually he felt something soft, but he couldn't tell what it was. Out of curiosity he took it out to take a closer look. Despite its colorful appearance, he was still able to recognize it. It was a sanitary pad that only women would use. Lin Jiege's ears reddened a little as he reversed the car with one hand while reaching into his bag with the other. After feeling around for a few energy bars, he finally found a very small wallet. Did she intentionally make such a small wallet so as to conserve space in her bag? With such a thought in mind, Lin Jiege unhesitatingly tossed Shi Yao's wallet under the passenger seat. Chapter 245. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiege unhesitatingly tossed Shi Yao's wallet under the passenger seat. After making sure that the wallet was well hidden, he reversed the car to Shi Yao's side and unlocked the door. Shi Yao got into the car and Lin Jiege calmly drove to the entrance of the restaurant. After parking the car, Lin Jiege waited for Shi Yao to get out with her bag before unbuckling his seatbelt and alighting as well. After entering the restaurant, a waiter led the two of them to an empty table. Lin Jiege caught sight of two QR codes pasted on the wall of the restaurant, one for Alipay and the other for WeChat. Does this place support Alipay and WeChat? So it's useless even if I hide my wallet? I'm even going to hide my phone along with it? Damn, I have nothing to do. Why is society developing so fast? Lin Jiege calmly pulled out a chair and sat down. At the same time he raised his head to look at Shi Yao's phone. As the two of them were sitting face to face, Lin Jiege could clearly see that the battery on the top right corner of Shi Yao's phone had turned red. This is a sign that she's running out of battery. Lin Jiege lowered his gaze as he contemplated for a moment. Then he turned to the waiter standing by the side and asked calmly, "Can I order now?" The waiter passed the menu over with a smile. Yes. Lin Jiege took the menu and pushed it toward Shi Yao. "I'm not a picky eater, so you can order." Without much hesitation, Shi Yao began ordering the dishes. From time to time she would ask Lin Jiege, "Can I?" Lin Jiege nodded calmly. Halfway through Shi Yao's order he took out his phone, tapped into WeChat, found Xia Shangzhou and sent a question mark. Then he placed his phone back on the table and continued watching Shi Yao order. Roughly a minute later Lin Jiege's phone rang. It was Xia Shangzhou replying to his WeChat. "Boss, what's the matter?" Instead of replying to Xia Shangzhou's message he dialed the number and pointed to his phone, indicating that he wanted to take a call. It didn't take long for the call to go through. Ignoring what Xia Shangzhou was saying on the other end of the line, Lin Jiege replied, "Hello Mr. Xia." 3 seconds of silence followed before Xia Shangzhou's trembling voice sounded, "Boss, did you call the wrong number?" Ignoring Xia Shangzhou's words, Lin Jiege asked, "Mr. Xia, are you free now?" Xia Shangzhou's voice trembled. "Boss, I'm fine with anything you want me to do as long as you don't call me Boss Xia." Lin Jiege, "That's good. I just saw your WeChat message saying that you have some suggestions you'd like to raise with me. No, I don't have anything against you. Absolutely not. Boss, you are my sky, my earth and my air. How would I dare to have any opinions about you? Lin Jiege, I don't think it's convenient to communicate through words, so if you don't mind, let's talk over the phone instead. It'll be easier for us to understand each other that way, so why don't you voice your opinion now?" Xia Shangzhou said, "Dad, I was wrong. I shouldn't have secretly taken 2 bottles of my dong and sold them to the people next door at a low price. Then I used the money to buy duck necks. Lin Jiege, it's fine. If I have any opinions I'll voice them out. Feel free to speak." Chapter 246. Lin Jiege, "Mr. Xia, what are you talking about? Why would I be angry?" Xia Shangzhou, "Daddy, I beg of you to stop talking. I'll confess everything. I didn't have any socks to wear this afternoon, so I took a pair from your drawer. I'll buy you a new pair later. No, I'll buy 10 pairs. Also, when I was washing my hands yesterday I accidentally used the wrong towel. I know that you're a germaphobe, so I'll buy you a new towel too. There shouldn't be anything else." Lin Jiege, "Mr. Xia." Xia Shangzhou, No, let me think. Also, I didn't have any tissues to use that day, so I took a packet of tissues from your drawer. I really don't have any left this time. I guarantee that I really don't have any." Before Xia Shangzhou could finish his words, Lin Jiege had already pressed the golf button on his phone, forcefully shutting it off. Then, pretending that his phone had run out of battery, he frantically pressed the home button and said, I'm sorry, but I have some urgent matters to attend to at work and my phone has run out of battery. Can I borrow your phone for a moment?" Without the slightest doubt, Shi Yao passed her phone over to Lin Jiege without any hesitation. Lin Jiege didn't take it. Instead he glanced at the black phone screen. Shi Yao was stunned for a moment before understanding Lin Jiege's intentions. She quickly unlocked the screen. Only then did Lin Jiege thank her before taking the phone. After which he dialed Xia Shangzhou's number once more. Mr. Xia, I'm sorry but my phone ran out of battery earlier. Please continue what you were saying earlier. BBB boss? Xia Shangzhou stuttered on the phone for a moment before he finally spoke up with a tearful voice. I've confessed everything, I've really confessed everything. Boss, I lied to you, I'm your son. Boss, I admit that I've made a mistake but Lu Benlai, that grandson of mine, has done much worse than me. Boss, do you know? He didn't wash his feet for the past 2 days, so in order to get his hands on the Maidong he stepped on your bed to get it. I saw him stepping on your pillow with my own eyes. Also boss, you said that we have to drink at least 3 bottles of Maidong every day and I followed your instructions. However, Lu Benlai didn't. He secretly flushed the Maidong down the toilet. Also boss, in order to show off, Lu Benlai even took a selfie with your laptop saying that it was his new laptop. While Xia Shangzhou was rambling on and on, Shi Yao's phone suddenly sounded with a low battery warning tone. Lin Jiege glanced at Shi Yao's screen and saw that the battery was already at less than 1%. He didn't immediately return the phone to Shi Yao. Instead he placed it by his ear and said politely, Mr. Xia, I've taken down your words. I'll consider your opinion carefully and give you a reply when the time comes. Boss, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Chapter 247. While Lin Jiege was making the call, the waiter had already brought the dishes over. Shi Yao was just about to stuff a mouthful of food into her mouth when she heard Lin Jiege's words. It wasn't convenient for her to speak, so she could only shake her head. When she took the phone from Lin Jiege's hands, she saw that Lin Jiege was looking at her with a deeply remorseful gaze. She had initially thought that this was nothing much, but she hurriedly swallowed the food in her mouth and looked at Lin Jiege with widened eyes before replying earnestly, It's all right. Perhaps it was her sincerity that convinced Lin Jiege, but he finally retracted his gaze and picked up his chopsticks. After the meal, Shi Yao called the waiter over to settle the bill. Unlike before, Lin Jiege didn't rush to pay the bill. Instead, he calmly leaned back on his chair and watched as the waiter passed the bill to Shi Yao. Shi Yao took a look at the price and asked, Can I pay via WeChat? Waiter, sure. Shi Yao didn't say a word. She reached for her phone, but when she pressed on the unlock button and saw that the screen didn't light up, she suddenly remembered that Lin Jiege had used up her phone's battery earlier. So she hurriedly smiled apologetically at the waiter and said, I just remembered that my phone is out of battery. I'll pay with my card instead. All right, miss, the waiter replied before entering the payment on the card machine. Shi Yao rummaged through her bag, but she couldn't find her wallet anywhere. So she hugged her bag tightly and began rummaging through her bag seriously. Time slowly ticked by, and when Shi Yao's fingertips came into contact with the colorful sanitary napkin for the second time, Lin Jiege suddenly recalled that he had touched the same sanitary napkin before, so he cleared his throat in embarrassment and asked, What's wrong? Shi Yao, who had already rummaged through her bag 3 times, replied in embarrassment, I don't think I brought my wallet with me, ah? He thought that she would panic and say that she had lost her wallet, but she actually said that she didn't bring her wallet with her. As long as you have food you can be so careless? Lin Jiege was silent for a moment before he took out his wallet from his pocket and said, I'll do it. After swiping his card and signing his name, the two of them waited for the waiter to leave before Lin Jiege and Shi Yao walked out of the restaurant one after another. A second after getting into the car, Shi Yao spoke up with a reddened face. I really didn't mean to refuse to treat you to a meal. I really didn't bring my wallet with me. As if afraid that Lin Jiege wouldn't believe her words, she intentionally opened her bag and showed it to him. As she had messed up her bag earlier, the sanitary napkin happened to be at the very top of the pile. Lin Jiege glanced over and the first thing he saw was the brightly colored cube. His face burned a little, but he quickly replied with a muffled before swiftly averting his gaze. Shi Yao was a little perplexed by his reaction. He had clearly called her to ask her to pay him back for the meal, but in the end he was still the one paying the bill. Could it be that he felt that she had done it on purpose? The more Shi Yao thought about it, the more uneasy she felt. Eventually she spoke up softly, I really have no intention of not paying you back for that meal. How about this? I'll give you the money and treat it as a loan. If you really can't do it, I'll write you an IOU later. Staring straight ahead, Lin Jiege skillfully maneuvered the car and replied, There's no need for that. How can I do that? Why don't I treat you to 2 meals, no 3? Before Shi Yao could finish her words, she suddenly fell silent as she looked at the scene outside the car window. Chapter 248. Noticing that Shi Yao had paused halfway through her words, Lin Jiege turned to look at her in bewilderment. Seeing that she was looking out the window, he followed her gaze. There were two girls in her line of sight. One of them was holding a box of fried chicken, and the other was holding a box of ice cream. Is it because she saw someone holding food in their hands that she chose to stare at them without saying a word? Do you have to be so greedy? How embarrassing. Lin Jiege rubbed his forehead helplessly in his heart as he thought about buying her some fried chicken and ice cream later on so that she wouldn't be envious of others around her. A second after this thought formed in Lin Jiege's mind, he saw the girl holding the fried chicken stuffing a piece of fried chicken into the mouth of the girl holding the ice cream. Following which, the girl holding the ice cream scooped up a spoonful of ice cream and fed it into the mouth of the girl holding the fried chicken. As the two girls ate their food, they looked at one another with satisfied smiles on their faces. In that instant, Lin Jiege seemed to have understood something, and he turned to look at Shi Yao, who was sitting in the front passenger seat. Looking at the two girls who were smiling at one another, the girl seemed to have recalled something from the past, and her eyes began to drift away. Even though she didn't reveal too much emotion on her face, her slightly pursed lips still betrayed her disappointment and sadness. So he had misunderstood her earlier? It wasn't because of the food in the two girls' hands. Rather, it was because their actions reminded her of Liang Mumu. So, even though she looks fine on the surface, she's still unhappy in her heart? With this thought in mind, Lin Jiege slowed down the car and stopped by the roadside. Shi Yao, who was staring at the two girls outside the window motionlessly, noticed that the car had stopped, and she turned to look at Lin Jiege with a doubtful look. Meeting her gaze, Lin Jiege pointed to KFC not too far away and said, "I'm going to the washroom." Shi Yao nodded slightly. After Lin Jiege got out of the car, she turned to look at the two girls once more. They had already walked far away such that she could only see their backs. However, from their actions she could still tell that they were very happy and intimate. It was just like how she and Liang Mumu used to be, just like how they used to be. After taking a few steps into KFC, Lin Jiege suddenly turned around to look at Shi Yao in the car. He saw that the girl was looking at the other two girls again. Perhaps because he was not in the car, the sadness and regret on her face became much more obvious. He couldn't help but feel a slight twinge of pain in his heart. In the next second he turned around and hurriedly walked into the KFC. At the same time he whipped out his phone, switched it on and logged into the game. Seeing that Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou were both online, he searched for Lu Benlai's WeChat and typed, "Let's meet at the KTV near our school in half an hour." Lu Benlai immediately replied, "Boss, I'm having a mild fever. Can we do it another day?" Heh, still playing games when you have a cold and a fever? Ignoring Lu Benlai's message, Lin Jiege replied in an irrelevant manner, "2 days ago you didn't wash your feet, so you stepped on my bed to get the maidong?" Without waiting for Lu Benlai's reply, Lin Jiege continued composing his next message. Halfway through typing, Lu Benlai replied with a pitiful emoticon before adding, "Boss." After fastening his seatbelt and starting the car, Lin Jiege shot a glance at Shi Yao and asked, "You don't have to worry about dinner tonight. If you really feel bad about it, why don't you come with me to a gathering?" Shi Yao blinked her eyes in bewilderment as she looked at Lin Jiege and asked, "A gathering?" Lin Jiege didn't respond to Shi Yao's words. Instead, he asked a question that had little to do with the previous topic. "Do you know how to drive?" Shi Yao nodded. She had received her driving license the summer after her national college entrance examination. Chapter 251. Shi Yao's gaze followed Xia Shangzhou's movements all the way to Lin Jiege's beautiful fingers. Wasn't little Junior supposed to drink fruit juice? Why did he give it to Lin Jiege? Just as Shi Yao was about to turn her head to look at Xia Shangzhou in confusion, Lin Jiege gracefully opened the bottle cap and passed it over to her. Xia Shangzhou did pass the fruit juice to her, but he passed it to Lin Jiege so that he could open the bottle cap for him? But doesn't Xia Shangzhou know how to open a bottle cap? Even if he doesn't know how to open a bottle cap, I know how to do it. Besides, I'm especially good at opening bottle caps, so why did he go through so much trouble to pass it to Lin Jiege? Is there something wrong with Lin Jie's roommate's head? Shi Yao thought as she took the fruit juice from Lin Jie's hands and said, "Thank you. Lu Benlai, little junior, do you want to sing?" "Xia Shangzhou, what song do you want to sing?" "I'll pick a song for you." Shi Yao took a sip of the fruit juice before shaking her head at the duo. Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou didn't force Shi Yao, nor did they dare to. "If you want to sing later, just let me know. I'll pick a song for you." After saying those words, Xia Shangzhou ran over to the song selection counter and fought with Lu Benlai to pick a song. Shi Yao swallowed the fruit juice in her mouth. Out of politeness, she was just about to reply to Xia Shangzhou with a sure when the door was pushed open. Dressed in a peacock blue dress and heels of the same color, Lin Jui walked into the room with a Hermes bag in hand. She was the first to see Shi Yao, and a warm and gentle smile immediately appeared on her cold and exquisite face. "Yao Yao." Upon seeing Lin Jui, Shi Yao's eyes lit up. "Sis Jui." Lin Jui shot Shi Yao a coquettish glance before turning her gaze to Lin Jie, who was seated beside Shi Yao. The smile on her face instantly turned cold. She responded with a light as a form of greeting before turning to look at Lu Benlai and Xia Shangzhou, who were busy picking songs. This time Lin Jie didn't say a word at all. She simply nodded slightly toward Lu Benlai as a form of greeting, but when her gaze fell upon Xia Shangzhou's face, her eyebrows abruptly knitted together. A second later, with killing intent emanating from her, she spat, "Peeping Tom. Peep peep peep. Isn't this a navigator? How did he become a peeping Tom?" Xia Shangzhou nearly fell to his knees. Similarly perplexed, Shi Yao tugged on Lin Jia's sleeve and asked, "Sis Jia, what do you mean by peeping Tom?" Hearing Shi Yao's voice, Lin Jia immediately abandoned Xia Shangzhou and sat down beside Shi Yao. With a gentle voice she said, "Back then he hid in my bathroom at my place. When I went in to shower he saw me." "No?" Xia Shangzhou instinctively tried to defend himself, but before he could even utter a single word, Lin Jia had already shot daggers at him. Frightened out of his wits, he immediately shut his mouth and fell silent. Oblivious to this sight, Shi Yao's eyebrows shot up. So, not only is there a hole in Lin Jie's brain, he's also a huge pervert. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao muttered indignantly, "That person is really too much." Lin Jia, "That's right, he's really too much." Lu Benlai, "That's right, he's really too much." Lin Jie, Xia Shangzhou was filled with indignation, but he had no one to vent it on. Chapter 252. However, it didn't take long for Lu Benlai to step forward to save the day. The coolness that he had chosen suddenly reminded him of the background music. The night grows cold, the flowers fall to the ground and turn into frost. Lu Benlai was a man, so Shi Yao thought that it would be a man's voice. Contrary to her expectations, it was a female voice. Astonished, Shi Yao raised her head to look at the singing Lu Benlai. Gazing from afar, depleting the twilight, it's hard to forget. It was only after Lu Benlai opened his mouth that Shi Yao was certain that it was indeed a female voice. "Yaya's peach blossom is cool. How could you give up in your previous life?" Lu Benlai continued singing, and just like in the duet, he had switched to a male voice this time around. "This boundless sea of heart, yet you pretend to be nothing but a facade. Wasn't Lin Jie's roommate a little too incredible? To be able to switch between male and female voices so perfectly." Shi Yao's attention was immediately drawn to Lu Benlai. "The coolness of the night, my longing for you flows into a river, turning into spring mud to protect me. The light years brush the sleeves of my lover, the fragrant flowers flow into the water." Lu Benlai's male voice and female voice finally reached the halfway point of coolness. However, when he reached the latter half of the song, Lu Benlai's voice was still that of a female voice, and the melody was identical to the original music. However, the lyrics were a little different. "They say that I'm too fat, that my body is covered in fat." Shi Yao, who had lowered her head to sip on her fruit juice after finishing the first half of the song, abruptly froze upon hearing those words. She was stunned for 3 seconds before she slowly raised her head to look at Lu Benlai once more. Lu Benlai's mouth was still opening and closing. "Your back is like a wall, no matter what you wear, it's hard for a young lady to find a partner." Shi Yao blinked her eyes several times before realizing that Lu Benlai had changed the lyrics. Following which, Lu Benlai's voice changed to that of a male voice, but the lyrics were still different from the one displayed on the screen. They're not lying, I'm most afraid of having you by my side. Even though you're so beautiful, I beg of you to forgive me and block my sunlight. Hearing those words, Yao couldn't hold herself back anymore and a pft escaped her mouth. She nearly spat out her drink. It was fortunate that she reacted quickly and covered her mouth. Do you have to be so funny? To sing like that and even change the lyrics so shamelessly? Seeing Yao's smile, Lu Benlai didn't stop singing, but he discreetly shot a glance toward Lin Jiege. The man sitting next to Yao turned his head to look at her when he saw her smile. The boy's face was as cold and indifferent as ever. However, when his eyes came into contact with the girl's upturned lips, they softened a little. Knowing that he was finally safe, Lu Benlai sang even harder than before. Lu Benlai, female voice, Benlai, female, Benlai, Lu Benlai. Yao had just removed her hand from her lips when she heard the lyrics, and she burst into laughter once more. Lu Lai Lu, T, male, Lu male voice. Yao's smile revealed her teeth as she leaned over to Lin Jie's ear and whispered. Looking at Yao's reaction, Lin Jiege couldn't help but smile. It was hard to tell if he was infected by the young lady's laughter or Lu Benlai's lyrics. Chapter 253. Xia Shangzhou, who had also been assigned a mission by Lin Jiege, sat by the side, silently observing the expressions on Yao and Lin Jiege's faces. Seeing that Lu Benlai had actually managed to amuse Yao by changing the lyrics of his song, he immediately moved the song he had chosen to the very front and waited for Lu Benlai to finish singing before taking the microphone from him. Yao had heard the song that Xia Shangzhou had chosen before. It was a song that Lin Jiege had unintentionally hummed while she was on the phone with Han Jing. It was called Short Paper, Long Feelings. I'll accompany you into the summer of cicadas, passing through the hustle and bustle of the city. My voice is still drifting, but I can't see the gentleness in your eyes. Compared to Lu Benlai, Xia Shangzhou's singing was slightly better, and he was able to bring out more emotions. This was especially so when he reached the climax of the song. Yao couldn't help but hum along with the lyrics in her heart. I really miss you. In every rainy season, what you choose to forget is what I'm most reluctant to part with. Short paper, long feelings, endless ripples. My story is all about you. However, at the climax of the song, the lyrics that Yao had picked up didn't match Xia Shangzhou's at all. How did I fall in love with him? Isn't it all because I'm blind? Yao froze. Forsaking a forest, tripping over a broken blade of grass. Hearing those words, Yao's lips crept up once more. So, this pervert with a hole in his head also changed the lyrics. Short paper, long feelings, endless words. A bag of A4 can't tell you how much of a scumbag you are. When he finished singing the last line, Xia Shangzhou even squeezed out an aggrieved expression, and Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter once more. Seeing that Xia Shangzhou was done, Lu Benlai immediately picked up the microphone and roared, "Damn it, you shameless bastard! How dare you steal my idea?" Xia Shangzhou retorted without any hesitation, "You're the shameless bastard. I stole the idea of a netizen. Are you a netizen?" Lu Benlai spat through gritted teeth. "Do you know that you're a well?" Xia Shangzhou was perplexed. "What?" Lu Benlai, "It's still a 2 no matter what." Xia Shangzhou, "You're a 2 no matter what. Your entire family is a 2 no." Amused by the bickering between the two of them, Yao pursed her lips and giggled for a moment before a thought suddenly struck her, and she subconsciously turned her head to look at Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai. Am I seeing things? Why did she feel that the bickering scene between the two of them was a little like Expert and Juice? Xia Shangzhou said, "I'm not going to argue with you today. Let's duel based on our skills. I'll skewer the lyrics." Lu Benlai, come. Who afraid? As he spoke, Lu Benlai tapped on the karaoke button and selected a random background song. Chapter 254. Seated on the sofa, Yao was completely dumbfounded as she listened to the duo's barrage of words. Songs can actually be sung like this? Lu Benlai, I'm a tiny little bird, I want to fly higher. Fly higher. Xia Shangzhou, night Shanghai, heya heya, pulling radishes. Pooh. Hearing those words, Yao couldn't help but burst into laughter. Even Lin Jie, who was seated by the side, couldn't help but have her lips curl up uncontrollably. even though she seemed to be looking at the lively duo with a cold and aloof gaze. Instead, Lu Benlai called for a waiter to bring a few more microphones over. After placing them on the table, he beckoned for Lin Jie, Shi Yao, and Lin Jierge to join him for a song skewer. Perhaps it was because the two of them had really stirred up the atmosphere, but Lin Jie didn't turn them down. She picked up the microphone and pondered for a few seconds before saying, "For you, I'm willing to transfer the warmth of one person to another's chest." Lu Benlai shouted out a string of 666,666 before continuing singing, "I'll accompany you to watch the meteor shower fall on Earth, to watch the railway being built all the way to my hometown. Xiaoshangzhou, men cry. It's not a sin to cry. Soar through this world of mortals and accompany me forever." Amidst the three of them, Shi Yao couldn't help but smile from ear to ear. In the end, she couldn't help but grab the microphone and join them as well. "Shi Yao, give me a cup of love-forgetting water. I'll live with it for the rest of my life." Lu Benlai, who's going to play East Wind Break on the pipa? Let the world know that we're all Chinese. Lin Jie, where will you be 1,000 years later? Wipe away your tears and don't ask. At the very least, we still have our dreams. As time ticked by, the few of them became more and more excited. The entire room was filled with singing and laughter. When it was almost 12 o'clock, a line of red words flashed on the big KTV screen, reminding them that their private room time was about to end. It was Lu Benlai's turn to sing, but he didn't. Instead, he raised the microphone and said, "Before tonight ends, let's use a single sentence to express our wishes. I'll go first, okay?" As he spoke, Lu Benlai shouted, "Let us live a carefree life together in the world of mortals." Xia Shangzhou raised his microphone and shouted, "Let us be companions in the world of mortals, and live as long as Mount Nanshan." Lin Jie fell silent for 2 seconds before shouting out the words in her heart, "Let us be companions in the world of mortals, brave to love, brave to hate." Noticing that the three of them were looking at her, Shi Yao tilted her head to the side and pondered for a moment before placing the microphone to her lips and saying, "Let us accompany you in the world of mortals and eat till we're fat. Alright." Amidst Lu Benlai, Xia Shangzhou and Lin Jie's jeers, Xia Shangzhou turned to Lin Jierge and asked, "Boss, do you want to make a wish too?" Lu Benlai, "That's right. Boss, say something." Lin Jie, "Hurry up. Tell me your wish." Shi Yao nodded vehemently as she looked at Lin Jierge in agreement. Seeing that Shi Yao had made a request, Lin Jierge didn't turn her down. He stood up, walked over to the table and picked up the microphone. After 2 seconds of silence, he looked at Shi Yao and said calmly, "Let us accompany you in the world of mortals and eat buns every day." Lin Jie replied disdainfully, "Hey, I hate eating buns the most." Chapter 255. When Lin Jierge walked past Lu Benlai, the latter remarked in displeasure, "Boss, your wish is too perfunctory." "Perfunctory? Compared to your vague wish of living a carefree life, my wish is far more practical." Without sparing Lu Benlai a glance, Lin Jierge continued walking forward. Just as he was about to reach Xia Shangzhou, the latter suddenly picked up Lu Benlai's words and ridiculed, "Are the wishes of the rich so capricious?" "Capricious? If eating buns every day is considered capricious, I'm more than willing to be capricious to the very end." Lin Jierge continued walking forward, and when he arrived before Shi Yao, his gaze fell on her face. Seeing that the other three had expressed their opinions, Shi Yao also chimed in, "I like crab roe buns." Lin Jierge, who hadn't shown any reaction at all from the start to the end, replied elegantly, I got it. But it's not like I'm the only one who said those words, so why should I reply with I got it?" Shi Yao shot a peculiar glance at Lin Jierge. Without saying a word, Lin Jierge pulled open the door of the suite and headed over to the front desk. After paying the bill, Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai tactfully left together. After Lin Jie and Shi Yao left the suite, they headed to the washroom together and they still hadn't come out yet. Lin Jierge stood at the entrance of the KTV, basking in the cool night breeze as he recalled the 4 different reactions he'd received after he'd voiced his wish in the private room earlier. After that, he eliminated Shi Yao from the equation. What do the other 3 know? Their buns are commonplace buns, but mine is the one and only soft bun in the entire world. By eating buns every day I mean eating soft bun every day. With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege couldn't help but look down on the other three disdainfully. However, his disdain didn't last more than 3 seconds before his thoughts drifted away again. Soft bun. Just how am I supposed to eat soft bun? More importantly, how am I supposed to eat soft bun every day? This thought lingered in his mind for an entire 3 minutes before he finally realized what he was thinking. Following which, as if someone had sealed his acupoints, he froze on the spot. Was he crazy? To think that she would make such a wish. Fine, he could just treat it as a wish to eat buns, but why did it have to be soft bun? Not to mention soft bun every single day. In an instant, Lin Jiege felt a searing sensation crawling all over his ears, and even his cheeks were starting to heat up. Crazy, he's really crazy. Lin Jiege? Lin Jiege walked out of the KTV together with Shi Yao, and upon seeing Lin Jiege standing at the entrance, she immediately called out to him. Lin Jiege turned around to look at the two ladies behind him before quickly averting his gaze with a reddened face. He feigned a calm on before turning to Lin Jiege and asking, "Did you drive here?" "I came over from a dinner party. I left the car with my mother," Lin Jiege replied. "All right, you should drive my car home," Lin Jiege said as he tossed the car keys over to Lin Jiege. Chapter 256. Lin Jiege nodded his head silently. Shi Yao waved at Lin Jiege and said, "Sis Jiege, goodbye." "Goodbye, my dear Yao Yao." Lin Jiege smiled brightly at Shi Yao before placing her hand on her lips and saying, Seeing her actions, Lin Jiege knew that she was going to blow Shi Yao another kiss and say moi moi. Without waiting for her to finish her words, he reached out to grab Shi Yao's head and turned her face toward him. After saying "let's go," he slid his hand down to Shi Yao's neck and held it lightly before leading her back to the academy. After walking for a distance, Lin Jiege turned around to take a look, but Lin Jiege's car was already out of sight. Only then did he remove his hand from Shi Yao's neck. The two of them didn't talk much as they walked along the street, passing by streetlight after streetlight. At a corner, Lin Jiege turned around to look at Shi Yao. Perhaps it was because she had a good time at the karaoke, her eyes were still glowing with excitement. There was no trace of the dejection and depression she had when she saw two passers-by getting intimate with each other in the car after dinner. His tense mood from before had also been swept away by the change in her mood. Still a little worried, Lin Jiege suddenly halted his footsteps when he passed by a 24-hour supermarket. "What's wrong?" Seeing that Lin Jiege had stopped, Shi Yao stopped as well. Lin Jiege stared at the supermarket for a moment before tossing a "give me a moment" at her before walking into the supermarket. Soon he walked out of the supermarket with a plastic bag in his hand. It was already late at night, so even with the streetlights in the area, Shi Yao was still unable to see what was inside the plastic bag. She didn't ask. Instead, she watched as he walked out of the supermarket and continued walking toward the school. After entering the school, just as they were about to reach the female dormitory, Lin Jiege stopped by a streetlight once more. Shi Yao shot a perplexed glance at Lin Jiege, thinking that this was where he planned to send her off. She was just about to say goodbye when she saw him taking out a glass bottle of water from the plastic bag and smashing it on the ground. His actions were so abrupt that Shi Yao staggered 2 steps back in fright. She looked at the shattered glass bottle and the water that had spilled all over the floor before turning to Lin Jiege with a perplexed look. Lin Jiege still didn't say a word. Instead, he took off the thin jacket he was wearing and searched around his armpit area. Then he took out a thin blade from a plastic bag and slashed it viciously at the jacket. In the blink of an eye, a small hole was left in the expensive jacket. What's wrong with him? Why did he do so many strange things? Shi Yao frowned as she looked at Lin Jiege. Just as she was about to speak up, the latter spoke up first. "Shi Yao, there are some things that are like this bottle of mineral water on the ground. Once it shatters and the water spills, it's impossible for it to return to its original state. There are also some things that are like this jacket in my hand. Even if it's torn, it won't be noticeable at all. Can still be worn with some mending." After saying those words, Lin Jiege gestured toward the female dormitory and said, "Let's go." Shi Yao didn't say a word. Her mind was completely immersed in Lin Jiege's earlier actions and words. It wasn't until she returned to her dormitory room, took a bath, and lay on her bed that she vaguely seemed to understand something. Then, just as she was about to close her eyes to sleep, she reached for her phone, tapped into her messages and searched for Lin Jiege's name. Chapter 257. Shi Yao stared at the phone screen for a moment, and the more she thought about it, the more convinced she was that her instincts were right. So she raised her finger and tapped on the screen. Sis Jai, did you put me and out of habit for many years? Shi Yao instinctively wanted to type the word Mumu. But it was only after she typed in the letters Muk that she realized that she was no longer Mumu but Liang Mumu. Did I tell you about Liang Mumu? After watching Shi Yao enter the female dormitory, Lin Jie returned to the street lamp where they had been standing earlier. He picked up the shattered glass bottles one by one with a napkin and tossed them into the trash can before straightening his back. It was already late at night and the entire school was eerily quiet. There wasn't a single person in sight. However, Lin Jie wasn't in a hurry to return to his dormitory. Instead, he took out his phone, searched for Liang Jisi's number and made a call. The phone rang for quite a while before it was finally picked up. Liang Jisi seemed to have been woken up from his sleep by Lin Jie. When he spoke, there was a heavy drowsiness in his voice. Bro, do you know that it's immoral to disturb someone's sleep in the middle of the night? Through Liang Jisi's voice, Lin Jie could hear him getting down from his bed to pour a cup of water. While he was doing that, his mouth didn't stop moving at all. Also, do you know that I wasn't having a dream earlier? It was a sweet dream. My little sister Miaoxue is wearing a very cute pink and kawaii underwear and it's a thin one. Alright. You might not know who my little sister Miaoxue is, but she's the female lead of a manga that I bought recently. It's a really good manga. Do you want to read it? I'd be reluctant to share my little sister Miaoxue with anyone else. But if it's you, I'm willing to share my little sister Miaoxue with you. Liang Jisi. Lin Jie, who was used to Liang Jisi recommending all kinds of erotic manga to him whenever he picked up the call, suddenly called out his name. Lin Jie's tone was very serious, completely different from the casual and carefree attitude he usually had with Liang Jisi. Liang Jisi's incessant chatter suddenly came to a halt. Lin Jie continued, the reason why I called you is to tell you to keep that cousin of yours in check when you're free. Liang Jisi was silent on the other end of the phone for 2 seconds before he said in puzzlement, little cousin? Mumu. What happened to her? Before Lin Jie could say anything, Liang Jisi had already asked, did something happen? But Mumu only has the temper of a spoiled brat. She doesn't have any bad intentions. She might have liked you since young, so if she offended you in any way, I'll apologize to you. Please don't take it to heart. Before Liang Jisi could finish his Lin Jie had already interjected coldly, I mind and I mind it very much. I mind it very much. Liang Jisi, seriously? Couldn't be that serious, right? What on earth did she do? You can ask her directly what she did. In any case, I'll leave it at that. I hope that what she did this time will be the first and last time. As the words left Lin Jie's lips, his tone grew colder and colder, and even his expression turned a little icy. If there's a next time, I can guarantee that it won't be as simple as calling you. Chapter 258. Did that lass really go overboard? There was a hint of incredulity in Liang Jisi's voice. I've always thought that she's a little too willful, but speaking of which, you should know very well what kind of person I am. Since you've already said that, I'll definitely take care of her. Why don't we find some time to invite her over to treat you to a meal as an apology? Without even thinking about it, Lin Jie rejected the offer resolutely. There's no need for that. Oh, you're so ruthless. You won't even give me face? Liang Jisi's tone grew even more surprised. Just how did she offend you? The person she offended isn't me. Lin Jie paused for a moment before continuing. The person she offended is Yao Yao. Oh, Yao Yao? Which Yao Yao? Why don't I know anyone named Yao Yao among the people you know? He muttered to himself for a moment before he finally came to a realization. Oh, I get it now. The Yao Yao you're talking about can't be the fiancé your grandfather arranged for you, right? That can't be right. You're going to turn me down just because of someone you don't want to marry? No matter what, Mumu grew up with us. Surely you don't have to go that far? Someone you don't want to marry. As Liang Jisi's words drifted into Lin Jie's ears, a deep frown appeared on his forehead. Even his words became much sharper and slower. Liang Jisi, I'm warning you. In the future, you'd better be more polite when you mention her. The other end of the phone fell silent. After a long time, Liang Jisi's voice finally sounded, Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. Without any hesitation, Lin Jiej replied to Liang Juxi's question. The reason why I called you today is to give you some face by telling you to keep your little cousin in check. If I had done so, things wouldn't have turned out this way. She's my bottom line and your little cousin has crossed it. Do you understand what it means to be a bottom line? After saying those words without any hesitation, Lin Jiej removed the phone from his ear and tapped on the button to end the call. Perhaps due to Liang Juxi's words, Lin Jiej took a few deep breaths, and he still felt a little irritated. Someone you don't want to marry. What does he know? Is he him? What right did he have to say these words? Wasn't this clearly slandering him? The next time he saw him, he would burn that little sister Miaoxue of his with a fire. With this thought in mind, Lin Jiej walked toward the dormitory with a hint of resentment in his heart. At the same time he lowered his head to look at the time on his phone. But before he could get a good look at the time, he saw a message from Yao. Sis Jai, did she tell you about me and Liang Mumu? So, she understood what he was hinting at under the streetlight before he sent her back to the dormitory building? Unlike before, Lin Jiej didn't try to find an excuse to cover up certain matters. Instead, he replied with a natural After sending the message, Yao waited for a long while, but there was still no reply from Lin Jiej. It was only then that she remembered that his phone had run out of battery during dinner, so it was likely that he hadn't switched it back on yet. Perhaps he might have returned to his dormitory room to charge it up before going to sleep. Thus, she placed her phone down and closed her eyes, preparing to go back to sleep. Chapter 259. Lin Jiej had replied to her message. The content was very much in line with his style. It couldn't get any simpler than a simple "phone." But it was precisely this single word that made Yao's drowsiness disappear in an instant. So I wasn't wrong. The things he did and the words he said were really a hint to Liang Mumu. Before Yao could recover from her shock, Lin Jiej had already sent another message. Are you feeling better now? Yao didn't think too much about it. She raised her finger to tap on the screen, but before she could type out her reply, Lin Jiej's message appeared on the screen once more. Are you feeling better now? Yao was stunned. He was asking if she was feeling better now? She could understand his reaction. After all, no matter who it was, they would be sad to see someone whom they had once treated as a friend betraying them. But was she feeling better now? That question surprised her a little. Her mood was indeed much better now, but how did he know? Could it be? Yet another thought surfaced in Yao's mind. She felt that her conjecture was simply too bold. Had it been in the past, she would have rejected it without any hesitation. But this time, she felt strangely confident, even though she had no idea where this confidence came from. After a long moment of contemplation, Yao decided to voice her conjecture openly. After all, she wouldn't know the truth even if she kept it to herself. With this thought in mind, Yao quickly typed on her phone and replied to Lin Jiej. You called me so many times in the afternoon because you found out about this matter? While Yao was confident in herself, she still couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. It was only after she sent this message that she began to feel a little uneasy. If Lin Jiej were to reply that it wasn't, how could she resolve the awkwardness? Just as Yao was racking her brains for an excuse, her phone suddenly lit up. Lin Jiej, it's actually... Does this mean that my confidence is correct? As expected, a woman's sixth sense is exceptionally accurate. Is this a lie? So, with this thought in mind, Yao continued typing. Was the KTV that night arranged at the last minute? This time Lin Jiej replied instantly. It really was an impromptu arrangement. After confirming that she was right twice in a row, Yao grew even more confident. Then, is the karaoke because of me? After the message was successfully sent, Yao held her breath. From that moment on, she felt that time was passing very slowly. Just as she was about to suffocate to death, Lin Jiej's message suddenly popped up on her phone screen. It was still a single word, but this time it wasn't an but a yes. So, it was really like this. She had guessed it right. She had guessed everything right. As soon as Lin Jiej found out about her relationship with Liang Mumu from Lin Jie, he gave her a call. He could tell that she was in a bad mood, so he specially arranged for a karaoke session and called his roommates and Sis Jai over to cheer her up. In truth, after the karaoke session she was truly overjoyed. Her gloomy mood for the entire day had been swept clean. An indescribable feeling suddenly engulfed Shi Yao's heart. Was he moved? He was touched, right? When you are sad, if someone tries to make you happy, you will definitely be very touched. Chapter 260. She wanted to thank Lin Jiege, but her fingers were trembling uncontrollably. She took several deep breaths and it took a lot of effort before she managed to calm herself down. With trembling fingers she typed, "Thank you, Lin Jiege." This time Lin Jiege's reply was longer. "It's what I should have done. What I should have done. I'm unhappy and he's coaxing me. How is that what I should have done?" Shi Yao frowned. She was just about to ask Lin Jiege when another message popped up on the screen. "We're friends. Does this mean that Lin Jiege is treating me as a friend?" She didn't have a good impression of him in the past, thinking that he was a lofty person who looked down on her. But now that they were interacting more, she realized that he wasn't such a bad person. For example, he had treated her to a meal and he treated all the delicious food that girls had given him when they confessed to each other as trash. So even if they were to cancel their engagement in the future and they couldn't be a family anymore, it wasn't impossible for them to remain friends. Besides, making a new friend was something to be happy about. With such thoughts in mind, Shi Yao's eyebrows curled up as she replied, "It was quite sad to lose a friend, but now that I've made a new one, it doesn't seem too bad." Without waiting for Lin Jiege's reply, Shi Yao continued, "But speaking of which, the way you coax me is really a little coquettish, especially those words you said after you smashed the glass bottle. You said that once it breaks and the water spills, it'll be impossible for you to return to how you were before. Let me tell you, it's a good thing that I'm smart. Anyone else would have no idea what you're doing." After receiving the 2 long messages from Shi Yao, Lin Jiege carefully read through them word by word before commenting in his mind. Who in the world would praise themselves for being smart? But Soft Bun was indeed smart. She understood his hint and guessed his intentions. But why did she only mention the hint about the broken glass bottle and not the torn jacket? Did she not understand that the ripping of the coat was also a hint? He was hinting that when he was young his grandfather had forced a fiancée on him, and he had implicated her in his rage, saying many hurtful words to her. The meaning behind his words was that Liang Mumu couldn't be forgiven, but unlike Liang Mumu he could still be forgiven for sewing and mending. Lin Jiege pondered for a moment before asking tactfully, "Other than that, do you have anything else to say?" Shi Yao was probably chatting with him on her phone, so she replied swiftly, "I'm glad to be friends with you." Who wanted to hear that? Besides, he didn't really want to be friends with her. He just accidentally said it's what I should do and was too embarrassed to find an excuse to save the situation. Lin Jiege patiently asked, "Other than that?" "Shi Yao, your 2 roommates are really fun to play with and they sing really well too." Lin Jiege raised his head to look at the sleeping Xia Shangzhou and Lu Benlai, and he suddenly felt an urge to suffocate them with a blanket. He took a deep breath and continued to ask, "Anything else?" "Shi Yao, actually it's all gone." She really didn't understand the latter half of my hint. Just as this thought flashed across Lin Jiege's mind, Shi Yao sent another message. However, Lin Jiege's heart was filled with anticipation. Chapter 261. So, after spending so much effort to lure her out, all she got was that bottle of mineral water? So, in the end it turned out that his efforts couldn't even compare to a bottle of mineral water that cost 24 renminbi? Shi Yao was still sending him a message. And that bottle of mineral water is a glass bottle. It costs 24 renminbi a bottle. $24, $24. You actually wasted 24 renminbi just to coax someone. Even if that person was me, I still find it a waste. Do you know that I'll be overjoyed if you give me 24 renminbi? 24 renminbi is enough to buy 3 strawberry cakes, 2 cups of milk tea, 5 bottles of soft drinks, and a huge portion of fried paste noodles. He really couldn't continue chatting with her anymore. Lin Jiege clutched his slightly injured chest and replied, "It's getting late. Let's go to sleep." Putting down his phone, Lin Jiege thought to himself, I better not chat with Soft Bun for the time being. A second later, the screen of his phone lit up. Lin Jiege swiftly picked up his phone, and as soon as he saw Shi Yao's "alright good night" message, he had already typed out a good night message and sent it. Shi Yao didn't respond to his message. Before Lin Jierge put down his phone, he took a look at the time and saw that it was already 2 in the morning. He pulled over his blanket and prepared to sleep, but as soon as he closed his eyes, he suddenly thought of the hint in his words that she didn't manage to decipher. Why did she only understand the part about Liang Mumu but not him? With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge flipped over in his bed. She still had the cheek to say that she was smart? How was she smart? She was clearly stupid. With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge flipped over once more. And there must be something wrong with his head as well. How dare he praise her for being smart? Lin Jierge had no idea how long he flipped around like that, but all the way until he fell asleep he was still feeling restless. There were several times when he wanted to pick up his phone and call Shi Yao to scold her for being stupid. It was hard to tell whether it was because her sleepiness had passed or because she was chatting with Lin Jierge, but after Shi Yao put down her phone she closed her eyes, unable to fall asleep. Her vision was in a mess, and the contents of her conversation with Lin Jierge kept appearing in her mind. As she thought about it, her heartbeat began to accelerate, just like when she received Lin Jierge's message. Everyone in the dormitory room had fallen asleep and it was extremely quiet. It was so quiet that Shi Yao could even hear her own thumping heart. She placed her hand on her chest before going through the contents of the message between her and Lin Jierge in her mind once more. Eventually she couldn't help but bury her head back into her blanket as her lips curled up into a smile. Shi Yao had no idea how many times she had gone over the contents of their messages that night, but before she fell asleep her mind was still filled with Lin Jierge's message. Her heart was still racing and the corners of her lips were still curled up. After the middle of May the weather quickly heated up. At noon the bright sunlight shone on the campus. At a glance the entire school was empty. There was almost no one walking around. After finishing yet another new project, Lin Jierge switched off his laptop and stretched his back lazily. He casually grabbed a bottle of Mai Dong, twisted open the cap, and drank 2 mouthfuls before picking up his phone. After replying to a few unread messages, Lin Jierge noticed that there was a red dot notification on his Moments page, so he tapped into it. After waiting for the page to refresh, the first thing he saw was a post that had been updated 3 minutes ago. Chapter 262. After replying to a few unread messages, Lin Jierge noticed that there was a red dot on his Moments page, so he tapped into it. The first thing he saw was Xia Shangzhou's Moments page from 3 minutes ago. Expert of the monkeys. I want to bring you to the romantic desert so that we can chase after the airdrops and escape from the blue circle together. Actually, I really like motorcycles and Milta, which has an 8x scope. Below this sentence was a picture from the game PlayerUnknown's Battleground. A man was riding a motorcycle with a woman on it, speeding through the desert. Above the man's head was the number 1 symbol, and above the woman's head was the number 2 symbol. On the upper left corner, number 1 was Expert of the Monkeys, and number 2 was Yao loves ice cream. Beneath the picture was a small line of text, mentioned, Yao loves ice cream. Lin Jierge didn't use his Moments page often, but he knew that it had this function. This meant that Xia Shangzhou had intentionally reminded Big White Chubby to look at his Moments page. While Lin Jierge was reading through the post, a like appeared on Xia Shangzhou's Moments page. Was, Yao loves ice cream. Following that there was another reply from Yao loves ice cream. The lyrics aren't bad. Did you write it? Xia Shangzhou sure is thick-skinned. To think that he would use Big White Chubby just to get replies and likes. With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge swiped down the screen. Roughly 16 hours ago, Xia Shangzhou had posted on his Moments page, I really want to eat duck blood vermicelli soup. There were 2 rows of likes and around a dozen replies. Among them, Yao loves ice cream, had liked the post and replied, I want to eat it too. Xia Shangzhou replied to her reply, and just like that, the 2 of them exchanged around 7 to 8 sentences on the topic of duck blood vermicelli soup, which took up 2/3 of Xia Shangzhou's replies. But Xia Shangzhou's Moments page didn't include Big White Chubby. So, even if he didn't like Big White Chubby would still like and reply to his Moments page? With this thought in mind, Lin Jierge tapped on Xia Shangzhou's name and entered his Moments page. While Xia Shangzhou didn't update his WeChat Moments every day, he could be considered as one of the more frequent men. Lin Jiege browsed through all of his WeChat moments and realized that ever since he added Big White Chubby as his WeChat friend, Big White Chubby had liked most of his posts, and more than half of them had received a reply from Big White Chubby. A frown appeared on Lin Jiege's forehead as he tapped into his moments page. He only sent one message, 333333. 78 people liked the post and 45 people replied. Lin Jiege, who never paid much attention to such things, first browsed through the replies, and after confirming that Yao loves ice cream wasn't there, he moved on to the profile pictures of the people who had liked his post. However, he wasn't able to find Big White Chubby's profile picture, so he went through it once more, but it still wasn't there. So he continued searching. After repeating this process several times, Lin Jiege finally gave up. He had to face the fact that Yao loves ice cream hadn't liked his post at all. He had posted this on his WeChat moments a long time ago. At that time, he and Big White Chubby were not friends yet. Therefore, when he compared his WeChat moments with Xia Shangzhou, there was no basis for him to use as a reference. As for the remaining 12 points, I'll give them to you in the form of 666. Following which, Yao loves ice cream, replied to Xia Shangzhou with his own eyes. The other party unhesitatingly accepted your compliment and replied with an O, intersection under her intersection. Oh, could it be that she didn't notice that he had just posted it on his moments and she had been interacting with Xia Shangzhou the whole time, so she replied to him? The more Lin Jiege thought about it, the more convinced he was that his conjecture was correct. Thus he gave a like to Yao loves ice cream's post. To return the favor, she should also give him a like on her moments, right? Chapter 265. Lu Benlai. Boss, I swear on my integrity that it's definitely blocked. Do you have any integrity? How can you swear on your integrity so casually? Lin Jiege was still unwilling to believe that this was the truth. On the other end of WeChat, Lu Benlai seemed to know what Lin Jiege was thinking, and he sent another message. My chastity. And my love that's about to come. Lin Jiege couldn't be bothered to reply to Lu Benlai, so he tapped on Lu Benlai's name and selected the option to block him from seeing his moments page. Then he sent a message to Lu Benlai. Tap into my moments page and take a screenshot for me. Soon Lu Benlai sent a screenshot over. It was exactly the same as when he first tapped into Big White Chubby's moments page. Other than a background image, a profile picture and a signature, he couldn't see anything else. So, it was just as Lu Benlai had said. Big White Chubby had blocked him from her moments page. She and Xia Shangzhou had been replying so passionately in their moments page, but when it came to him, it became a block? The more Lin Jiege thought about it, the more he lost his composure. In the end, he decided to head over to the App Store and found WeChat. He gave it a 1-star negative review, and the accompanying comment was, "The user experience is terrible. If not for the fact that the lowest rating is 1 star, I would have given it a 0. Even after giving his review on WeChat, Lin Jiege still felt stifled. He tapped into WeChat once more and sent a message to Lu Benlai. I'll take you out for afternoon tea. Do you want to come? Lu Benlai instantly replied, sure. There was even a cute emoticon attached at the end. Lin Jiege. Let's meet at the school gate in 10 minutes. Lu Benlai. All right, boss. A moment later, Lu Benlai. Boss, should we call old Xia Long? Xia Shangzhou? Without any hesitation, Lin Jiege replied, no, abandon him. Lu Benlai. Sure. I'm not familiar with old Xia anyway. What's his name? How tall is he? How much does he weigh? How old is he? I don't know anything. By the time Lin Jiege arrived at the school gate, Lu Benlai was already waiting for him. As soon as Lin Jiege approached, Lu Benlai put away his phone and asked, Boss, where are we going for afternoon tea? You'll know when we get there, Lin Jiege replied nonchalantly. After which he flagged down a taxi at the entrance of the academy and gestured for Lu Benlai to get in. It was 3 in the afternoon and it wasn't the peak hour of the night shift yet, so the traffic wasn't too bad. Roughly 20 minutes later, the car arrived at the street that Lin Jiege had reported to them. After making the payment, Lin Jierig and Lu Benlai walked roughly 200 meters down the road before stopping in front of a shop. Lu Benlai knew of this street. It was a famous street for supper in Beijing. He raised his head to look at the shop's name, Taste of Home. Then he stared at the picture of a menacing crayfish and asked, "Boss? Are you sure we want crayfish for tea?" Lin Jierig replied with a nonchalant before leading the way into the flavor of home. Lu Benlai discreetly rubbed his stomach, which hadn't fully digested his lunch, and gritted his teeth to follow along. Even though it was afternoon, there were still many tables filled with people. Lin Jierig found a seat near the center of the restaurant and took a seat. He pushed the menu over to Lu Benlai and gestured for him to place his order. After which he began looking around at the people eating crayfish in the area. "I think, other than you, boss, the others must." Before Lu Benlai could finish his sentence, he had already subconsciously glanced at the window and fell silent. The male student who had just helped Shi Yao peel another plate of prawns, but this time he wasn't passing it to Shi Yao but to Leng Nuan. Lu Benlai widened his eyes in shock. Roughly 3 seconds later, he turned to Lin Jierig and bellowed furiously, "Too much. This is too much." Chapter 268. Is there something wrong with this man? After peeling prawns for little Junior, he peels prawns for my wife. Who cares about him peeling prawns? Amidst Lu Benlai's indignant roar, a few more peeled prawns appeared on the plate in front of the young man. Are you serious? He's still peeling prawns? Is he going to peel them for little Junior's sister or for my wife? Please, please, it's for little Junior, for little Junior. Before Lu Benlai could finish his third for little Junior, he suddenly felt a chill rushing toward him. Shivering, he raised his head, only to see Lin Jierig shooting him a frosty gaze. Immediately, a smile blossomed on his face. Little Junior, my ass. Little Junior doesn't care about the prawns he peels. Lu Benlai, whose survival instincts were off the charts, forcefully twisted his words, and in the next second he changed the topic. Boss, we can't go on like this. We have to think of a way to stop him. You should know that the pavilion closest to the water enjoys moonlight first. He might look crooked, but his act of peeling prawns is very considerate. I've heard that it's very easy for girls to be moved by such small details. Lin Jierig stared at Lu Benlai in disbelief, thinking that he was spouting nonsense. Are you sure that girls will be moved by such small details? I'm sure. Lu Benlai puffed out his chest confidently. Just based on the 5 romance novels about domineering CEOs that I've been staying up all night to read, there's no way I'm wrong. Lin Jierig looked at Lu Benlai with disbelief in his eyes, as if he was looking at an idiot. Lu Benlai continued to defend himself. Boss, have you ever heard of the saying, know thyself and know thy enemy, and you will emerge victorious in every battle? The reason why I went to read novels about domineering CEOs is to understand the psychology of girls and learn what they're infatuated with so that I can better woo Leng Nuan. Let me tell you, there's a lot to learn here. Some of the female leads are moved by the male lead's help to warm her tummy due to her period, and some of the female leads are moved by the male lead's piggyback because the heel of her shoe broke. Besides, boss, how can you be so sure that girls won't be moved by peeling prawns? Even though Lin Jierig wasn't that convinced, he was moved by Lu Benlai's final words. It was better to kill the wrong person than to let him go. With that thought in mind, he looked around and found a fat middle-aged man with a greasy face. He moved closer to him and said a few words in a low voice. The middle-aged man replied with an okay gesture before stuffing the prawn in his hand into his mouth. As he chewed on it, he walked over to Shi Yao's table. It didn't take long for the middle-aged man to walk up to the young man who was peeling the prawns for Shi Yao and Leng Nuan. With a fawning smile on his face, he greeted the young man, "Darling." Then he wrapped his arms around the young man and planted a kiss on the latter's face. At the same time, the middle-aged man said, "What a coincidence to meet you here. Do you know that ever since you left me that night, I've been thinking of you every single day." The uncle didn't even give the boy a chance to speak. He even hugged the boy tightly. Lu Benlai could see with his own eyes how the people at the table looked at the young man, and their eyes were filled with shock and astonishment. When the uncle and the boy separated, the uncle accidentally knocked over the plate of prawns that the boy had peeled. Chapter 269. But boss, speaking of which, you sure are ruthless. You found a man to sever the girl's thoughts. After all, if you found a woman, they could still break up. Boss, you aren't just plucking peach blossoms, you're uprooting the peach tree. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Lu Benlai muttered to himself, praising Lin Jierge for a while before putting on his gloves and eating his prawns again. While eating, he didn't stop his mouth. It was a false alarm. I managed to escape death, and my wife isn't seduced by those bewitching B** cheese. From start to end, Lin Jierge's gaze was fixed on Shi Yao's table. After the middle-aged man left, the young man blabbered on and on with a reddened face, most likely trying to explain himself. The others were also chuckling. From the looks of it, they were saying that they believed him, but their eyes were filled with doubt. Seeing that his plan had worked, Lin Jierge retracted his gaze unhurriedly. He picked up the plum juice on the table, but just as he was about to drink it, he heard Lu Benlai's final words. He raised his eyes to look at Lu Benlai, and after a moment of contemplation he said, "You're thinking too much." With a mouthful of prawns, Lu Benlai's words were a little slurred. "What?" Lin Jierge leisurely drank 2 mouthfuls of plum juice before continuing. "The girl you like has always been safe." Lu Benlai was even more dumbfounded. Lin Jierge leisurely put down the cup of plum juice and said calmly, "That's because Yao Yao is by her side." In other words, with soft bun around, how could a man possibly be interested in the girl you like? Lu Benlai was indignant. "How do you know that the young man isn't interested in my wife? Don't forget that the young man peeled prawns for my wife too." "Oh, so what?" Lin Jierge's voice was still as impassive as ever. "The first prawn that the young man peeled was for Yao Yao, not the girl you like." This. Lu Benlai only managed to utter a single word before he found himself at a loss for words. But Lin Jierge had no intention of letting the matter drop. Who knows, the young man might have been giving the girl you like some prawns to fawn on Yao Yao. Lu Benlai, Lin Jierge. Also, the person of honor for this restaurant is Soft Bun. Lu Benlai. 10 whole seconds later, Lu Benlai finally spoke up. "Boss, you can insult me, but you can't insult my wife." Lin Jierge shot Lu Benlai a perplexed look and asked, "Am I insulting you?" "I'm telling the truth. The girl you like isn't as pretty as Soft Bun anyway." Lu Benlai. 10 seconds later, Lu Benlai finally spoke up with a stern look on his face. "Boss, you'll lose me if you continue like this." Lin Jierge nodded calmly and said, "Sure. We'll split the bill later." Lu Benlai. 10 seconds later, Lu Benlai's rage finally subsided. "All right, boss. Just this once, just this once. I'll admit that Little Junior has brought light to this restaurant." Chapter 270. Before leaving, Lin Jierge didn't forget to pay the bill for the middle-aged man who had helped him earlier, and he even gave them the untouched crayfish that Lu Benlai had ordered as well. 3 days ago, Shi Yao's roommates had already arranged with a few of her close classmates to eat crayfish at the Taste of Home on the weekend. Had it been any other day, Shi Yao would have immediately started eating as soon as the food was served. But today someone stopped Shi Yao and insisted on taking a photo to post on his Moments page. Under that person's lead, everyone else followed suit and took a photo to post on their Moments page. Shi Yao stared at the crayfish for a moment, but since she couldn't eat it, she had no choice but to take a photo and post it on her Moments page to divert her attention. After successfully posting it on her Moments page, she saw that her message to Expert of the Monkeys had received a reply, so she casually replied to Monkey before continuing to eat. She placed her phone on the table and the page was her Moments page. While she was eating the crayfish, people kept replying to her Moments page. Out of curiosity, Shi Yao would take a look at the replies on her Moments page every once in a while. She didn't add many friends, so there weren't many replies either. Most of the replies were either saying that she was poisonous or that she really wanted to eat it. However, there was one particular reply that stood out from the rest. It was from less than 111,111, fat to 250. He's only fat to 250? His entire family is fat to 250. Sure Yao couldn't be bothered to bicker with Mr. Numbers, so she could only grumble at him inwardly before replying to Monkey's reply and continuing to eat. Sure Yao thought that given Mr. Numbers' cold and aloof personality, he would surely ignore her if she were to ignore him. But who could have thought that Mr. Numbers would actually appear on her Moments page once more? Less than 111,111. Eating spicy food causes pimples to break out. She had the kind of milky skin that everyone envied, alright? She was born with fair and smooth skin. Sure Yao chose to ignore it once more. Less than 111,111. I'm speaking the truth. There's an even more terrifying truth. Do you want to hear it? Don't listen to it. Just as these words flashed across Sure Yao's mind, less than 111,111's reply appeared on her phone. It's one thing if you're fat, but if you have pimples all over your face. Sure Yao, who was in the midst of sipping on her coconut juice through her straw, choked on those words. In the first place, the reason why she drank the coconut juice was because it was spicy. Choking on it, the spiciness seeped into her nose, and the irritating sensation left her breathless. Unable to tolerate it any longer, she blocked less than 111,111 from seeing her Moments without a second thought. In truth, Sure Yao was thinking of unblocking less than 111,111 after eating the crayfish. But after they were done eating the crayfish, Tian suggested that they go shopping for Haagen-Dazs, and she had forgotten about the matter. By the time they returned to the academy, it was already 7 in the evening. Due to the hot weather, Sure Yao was drenched in sweat, so she took a bath and changed into her pajamas before picking up her phone and calling for everyone in the sexy and frisky group to play. Expert of the monkeys was the first to speak up. Sis Yao, I'll only be able to play later. I'm still eating, so I haven't gone back yet. Juice. I'm reading a novel and I'm about to finish the finale. Let's play after I'm done with it. After sending the message. Yes. Less than 111,111, boss. Aren't you playing the game? Bring Sis Yao along. The mention of Mr. Numbers from Juice reminded Sure Yao that she'd blocked Mr. Numbers' Moments page and she still hadn't unblocked it. She instinctively wanted to find an excuse to hide from him, but a sentence suddenly popped up on her screen. Chapter 271. As soon as Juice mentioned Mr. Numbers, Sure Yao suddenly recalled that she'd blocked Mr. Numbers' Moments page, and she still hadn't unblocked it. She instinctively wanted to find an excuse to hide from him, but a message suddenly popped up on her screen. Less than 111,111. I'm afraid that I won't be able to squeeze into the server if I bring her along. Is he implying that I'm so fat that I can burst the server? How can there be someone with such a cheap mouth? Furthermore, I've already told him that I'm not fat anymore. So why does he still think that I'm fat? She was too busy eating crayfish in the afternoon to bother with him, but now, with such thoughts in mind, Sure Yao started typing on her screen angrily. The other party rolled his eyes at you and said that her legs might be even thinner than your arms. Less than 111,111. Are you treating your fingers as your legs? Whose fingers are thicker than their legs? Sure Yao grew even more furious. She lowered her head to look at her fair and slender fingers before turning to look at her fair and slender thighs. She couldn't help but feel an urge to crawl through her phone, appear before Mr. Numbers and dazzle him until he's blind. Before Sure Yao could say anything, less than 111,111 had already sent another message. Other girls have slender hands, but yours. He intentionally paused halfway and 2 seconds later, a new message popped up on the screen. Less than 111,111. Mountain of the 5 fingers. Expert of the monkeys. Boss, you're going overboard. Juice, that's right. Boss, how can you say that about Sis Yao? Tide. No wonder none of you have a girlfriend. I'm hugging my girlfriend, enjoying the air conditioner, eating watermelon and watching Korean dramas. How blissful. Expert of the monkeys. Scram, you lovey-dovey dog. Juice, so what if you have a girlfriend? Something to brag about. With a girlfriend you can ascend to the heavens. Sure Yao didn't respond to the other 3. Instead, she stared at the mountain of the 5 fingers sent by less than 111,111 for a while longer before reaching the end of her patience. She took out her phone, took a photo of her hand and sent it to the WeChat group. While the photo was being sent, Shi Yao started typing. Unphotoshopped. Taken by the iPhone's rear camera. After saying that, Shi Yao added 3 mocking smiley emojis at the end of the message and sent it over. Facts speak louder than words. No matter how despicable Mr. Number's mouth is, he can't beat a photo. Expert of the monkeys. Wow, these are the classic hands of a beautiful woman. It's Juice. Sent a series of emoticons with red hearts in their eyes and salivating. Tied, good. 111,111. Did you steal it from the internet? What do you mean by stolen? He was a natural beauty. Did she need to steal pictures? Gritting her teeth, Shi Yao typed in 6 exclamation marks and sent it over. Chapter 272. It just so happened that the Sexy and Frisky group had a new message at the top, so Shi Yao clicked into it out of convenience. After sending that emoji, she picked up the call. Us. Immediately popped up. Oh no, Sis Yao is angry. Expert of the monkeys. I'm angry too, the kind that can't be coaxed. Juice. You make it sound like I'm interested in coaxing you. Expert of the monkeys. You make it sound like I'm interested in you coaxing me. Shi Yao took a quick glance at the conversation between Expert and Juice, and she couldn't help but shake her head helplessly. Didn't they say that I'm angry? How did it turn into a quarrel over whether I'm interested in you coaxing me or not? Have the two of them always been so unfocused? Shi Yao scrolled down the long chat history and she finally saw Juice and Expert returning to the main topic. Expert of the monkeys. Yao loves ice cream. Sis Yao, it can't be that you're really angry? That's just how our boss is. He didn't mean anything by it, so allow me to apologize on his behalf. Juice. Sis Yao, I'll share my most treasured book with you. Attached was a photo of a hardcover book titled A Billion Stars Can't Compare to You. Juice. It's a really good book, Sis Yao. I guarantee that you won't be unhappy after reading it, because it'll make you want to cry. Perhaps it was because she hadn't spoken for a long time, but everyone thought that she was really angry. In the end, Juice and Expert started criticizing Mr. Numbers. Surprisingly, Mr. Numbers didn't even utter a single word to refute the duo at all. Shi Yao didn't speak in the Sexy and Frisky group anymore. After reading through the messages in the group, she returned to the main page and saw that less than 111,111 had sent her a private message. He clicked on it. Less than 111,111, ? Less than 111,111? Less than 111,111? 111,111. Are you really angry? The emoji that Shi Yao had sent to the group was a densely packed pile of biscuits. After receiving no response from Mr. Numbers despite sending her several messages, he sent her the same emoji. However, there was an additional red circle on the "Which biscuit are you?" emoji, and within the circle was the largest biscuit in the pile. I'm this biscuit. In truth, Shi Yao wasn't really angry. It was just a coincidence that her mother had suddenly called her. Seeing Mr. Numbers' reply, she couldn't help but burst into laughter before replying to Mr. Numbers. That photo is really my hand. 111,111. Okay. Whatever you say. What did he mean by that? Yes, that's right. Just as Shi Yao was about to emphasize her point once more, another notification popped up on the screen. 111,111. Your hands are quite beautiful. It wasn't as if Mr. Numbers' mouth was hopelessly vile. He still knew how to speak human language. Just as this thought flashed across Shi Yao's mind, yet another notification popped up on the screen. Less than 111,111. It's just that you look good, but you're useless. You're a lousy gamer. My face hurts. Shi Yao touched her face as she typed on the screen. I'm starting to pity you. Less than 111,111? Chapter 274. Less than 111,111. Forget it, let's not talk about this anymore. Do you want to play a game? As soon as those words appeared on Shi Yao's phone screen, Mr. Numbers immediately shared a game room with her. Shi Yao was already interested in playing, so she couldn't be bothered to argue with Mr. Numbers anymore. She tapped on the room he shared and entered the game. While she was playing, Shi Yao couldn't help but think about the conversation she had with Mr. Numbers earlier. She had always thought that it was a miraculous thing for her to be betrothed to someone at birth. Who could have thought that she would actually meet someone in the game? Since when did betrothal become so popular? But speaking of which, Mr. Numbers was still an old virgin. He had a fiancée, but he didn't sleep with his fiancée. Could there be something wrong with Mr. Numbers in that aspect? What am I thinking about? Realizing that her thoughts were tainted, Shi Yao hurriedly shook her head, but a few seconds later her thoughts drifted away once more. Mr. Numbers' mouth is so venomous, but his fiancée is actually able to tolerate it. Is there something wrong with her head? Lin Jie leaned lazily against the back of his chair as his fingers slid across the screen filled with game pages, controlling the character in the game to jump around the spawn island. He looked perfectly normal on the surface, but his mind was filled with the conversation he had with Yao Loves Ice Cream earlier. Big White Chubby actually said that she had a fiancé? She must have made it up because he had a fiancé. After all, in this world not anyone could have a significant other before they were even born. Besides, if she really had a fiancé, why wouldn't she be playing with her fiancé? Did she really think that he was that gullible? Furthermore, she even said that whoever lied to her was a piece of spicy chicken. He really couldn't imagine which piece of spicy chicken she was in the picture she sent him. Besides, if Big White Chubby really had a fiancé, why wouldn't her fiancé tell her to go on a diet when she was already so fat? If what she said was true, her fiancé must really be sick in the head. It didn't take long for the match to be completed. Shi Yao quickly reined in her thoughts and focused on the game. Mr. Numbers was still leading her wherever she went. Of course, he was still as invincible as ever, carrying her wherever they went. Whenever they encountered a god, they would slay a god, and whenever they encountered a demon, they would slay a demon. Mr. Numbers would kill every single one of them and she would get chicken dinners with 0 kills. Nevertheless, it wasn't as if she couldn't bump into anyone every time she landed so that she could experience the game. On the 5th round, Shi Yao and less than 111,111 parachuted down to the ground, and they ran into another team. Then a second after Shi Yao's feet touched the ground, she was pummeled to death by the fists of the other two. How cruel. Not only did he turn into a box as soon as he landed, he was even beaten to death by the two of them. Shi Yao's heart felt stifled for a second before she switched over to less than 111,111's vision. She had originally thought that since there were two of them and he was alone, he would avoid them and go to the nearby houses to pick up equipment and grow wretchedly. Who could have thought that Mr. Numbers would actually pick up a pistol from a random toilet by the roadside and chase after the two men who had just beaten her to death? There was a car nearby, so before Mr. Numbers could catch up, the two of them had already boarded the car and left. Chapter 275. There was a car nearby, but before Mr. Numbers could reach them, the two of them had already boarded the car and left. Shi Yao thought that Mr. Numbers would give up and head to the housing area to pick up some equipment and strike it rich. However, what happened next gave her another tight slap to her face. Mr. Numbers had indeed headed to the housing area, but he wasn't heading for the houses but the parking lot of the housing area. He found a motorcycle there and sped off in the direction of the two men's car. Motorcycles were the fastest vehicles out of all of the vehicles. Even though the two men had boarded the motorcycle slightly earlier than Mr. Numbers, it didn't take long for the duo's car to appear in Mr. Numbers' sight once more. The two of them chased after one another for quite a while, and when they were passing by two houses, the two men suddenly jumped off the motorcycle and entered the house. Shi Yao knew that the two of them hadn't picked up any equipment when they landed, so they were intending to enter the house to pick them up so that they could retaliate against less than 111,111. However, a second after the two men entered the house, Mr. Numbers immediately stopped his motorcycle and leaped into the house through the window. With a small pistol in his hand, he fired at the two men. The two men scattered around the house, and the three of them circled around the house for quite a while before the two men returned to the motorcycle and drove off. Yao thought that since the two men had left, no one would be able to loot the equipment in the house. Furthermore, the blue zone was already starting to refresh, so Mr. Numbers would surely start looting the equipment. Unexpectedly, upon seeing the two men leaping out of the window, Mr. Numbers also ran toward the window as well. Passing by a level 3 motorcycle helmet, he didn't even spare it a glance before shattering the glass with a kick. With a resounding crash, he landed on the ground, found his motorcycle and chased after the two men. The two men were driving an SUV and they were probably annoyed by Mr. Numbers' pursuit, so they attempted to ram him to death. Yet just as Yao thought that Mr. Numbers was going to die, he would always be able to maneuver his motorcycle and easily evade them. Seeing that the blue zone was getting closer and closer, the two men tried more than 10 times to ram less than 111,111 to no avail. Eventually they gave up and ran toward the safe zone. Mr. Numbers continued chasing after them relentlessly. Just like before, whenever the two of them tried to enter the housing area to pick up equipment, they would be chased by Mr. Numbers with a pistol. It was as if the three of them were playing hide and seek. They went back and forth many times, but no one was killed and no one picked up any equipment. When the three of them ran into the blue zone for the third time, the two of them could no longer hold it in. They rolled down the window and spoke to 111,111, who was driving next to them. "Brother, please don't chase after me, okay? The game has already been going on for 10 minutes and neither of us has any equipment. If you do this, both of us will suffer heavy losses. Later no one will be able to fight in the arena. Isn't it just killing one of your teammates? Is there a need to do this?" "That's right, brother. Do you know that you've already chased the two of us across half the map? Can't we talk it out?" Yes. "Brother, if you're unhappy because you lost a teammate, why don't the three of us form an alliance?" Chapter 276. Brother, why don't you agree to our conditions? Otherwise, none of us will be able to make it to the final circle. The duo tried to persuade Mr. Numbers for a long while before he finally responded, "All right. Then brother, do you want to get on our car?" One of the duo's voices sounded from the game, and less than 111,111's speeding motorcycle began to slow down. Mr. Numbers didn't say a word, but the duo knew that his actions meant that he had agreed to their suggestion, so they hurriedly slowed down as well. The two cars came to a stop and Mr. Numbers leaped down from his motorcycle and leaped toward the Jeep. The two cars were very close to one another, and Mr. Numbers' leap allowed him to land right beside the window of the passenger seat. Seeing that Mr. Numbers didn't get on the Jeep right away, one of the duo urged, "Brother, hurry up, the blue circle is about to reach us." However, before he could finish his words, Mr. Numbers had already raised his hand, and a bullet flew out from his pistol, piercing right into the head of the person in the passenger seat. Following which, the person in the passenger seat fell out of the car and collapsed at Mr. Numbers' feet. Following which, a notification popped up on Yao's screen. Less than 111,111 knocked out, physics homework get lost, with our 1895. While everyone was still trying to figure out what was going on, Mr. Numbers raised his hand once more and a gunshot sounded. Two crates appeared around less than 111,111. Following which, two notifications popped up on Yao's phone screen. 111111, eliminated, phone top-up for your boyfriend with our 1895. Less than 111,111 eliminated, physics homework get lost, with our 1895. The duo who were killed by less than 111,111 finally came to their senses. "The heck are you for real? Brother, didn't you agree to our alliance?" "Indeed. How can you be like this? Aren't you going back on your words?" Faced with the duo's criticism, Mr. Numbers replied calmly, "I agreed to it in that second, but I didn't say that I would agree to it in the next second. The heck, I've never seen such a shameless person before. You're too shameless." Amidst the furious curses of the two boxes, Mr. Numbers leaped into the Jeep that they had just driven and stepped on the accelerator. Now that he had killed two players, it was time for him to enter the safe zone and start looting equipment to prepare for the final circle, right? With such thoughts in mind, Yao stuffed a potato chip into her mouth. But before she could finish chewing, she saw Mr. Numbers driving the car right into the blue zone. Shi Yao subconsciously reminded less than 111,111. You're running in the wrong direction. No one paid attention to her. The car under Mr. Numbers' control was still speeding through the blue zone. Watching as Mr. Numbers' health bar continued to fall, Shi Yao's lips moved once more. But this time, before she could say anything, she saw Mr. Numbers getting closer and closer to the spot where she had died. Shi Yao was stunned for a moment before she saw Mr. Numbers' car coming to a stop. Following which, Mr. Numbers leaped out of the car, took 2 steps forward, found her box and began hopping around it. Did Mr. Numbers have a screw loose in the head? Why did he run into the blue zone and jump around her crate? Chapter 277. Following which, less than 111,111's voice sounded in Shi Yao's earpiece. If you don't pick up any equipment, you won't be able to fight in the finals. The longer they played together, the more she heard Mr. Numbers speak. But every time he spoke, she still couldn't help but be awed by his melodious voice. With such thoughts in mind, less than 111,111's melodious voice sounded in Shi Yao's ears once more. Thinking about how lonely your new grave is, I felt that you were quite pitiful, so I reluctantly came over to accompany you. You were quite pitiful. Reluctantly came over. As those words sounded in Shi Yao's ears, she suddenly felt that Mr. Numbers' voice wasn't pleasant at all. On the other end of the game, after saying thinking about how lonely your new grave is, I felt that you were quite pitiful, so I reluctantly came over to accompany you. Lin Jiege quickly took a screenshot and saved it into his photo album. By then it was already around 11 p.m. When Lin Jiege returned to the game, he heard Yao loves ice cream telling him that she was going to sleep. Without saying a word, Lin Jiege typed in 8 and sent it over. After Yao loves ice cream left the room, Lin Jiege logged out of the game too. He put down his phone and rubbed his neck, which was a little sore from playing the game for too long. Stretching his back lazily, he grabbed a towel and pajamas before heading to the bathroom. By the time he came out of the bathroom, Xia Shangzhou was already back. Xia Shangzhou was looking at his phone when he heard the door to the bathroom open, so he raised his head and called out, "Boss?" Lin Jiege replied with an as he dried his wet hair. He walked over to his table and grabbed the hairdryer. While he was drying his hair, he could vaguely hear Xia Shangzhou singing. However, due to the loud noise from the hairdryer, he couldn't hear the lyrics clearly. It was only after he finished drying his hair, switched off the hairdryer, and tidied his hair in front of the mirror that he finally heard what Xia Shangzhou was singing. "I want to bring you to the romantic desert so we can chase after the airdrops and escape from the blue circle together. Actually, I really like motorcycles and the 8x scope in Milta. Wasn't this what he posted on his Moments page in the afternoon? On top of that, there was a picture of him carrying Sis Yao on his motorbike." With such thoughts in mind, Lin Jiege suddenly recalled how Yao loves ice cream had blocked him from her Moments page. A slight frown appeared on his forehead. Then he heard Xia Shangzhou humming the lyrics of the song. "Today's makeup is especially mesmerizing. Oh my Sis Yao, a new mood before a game. Oh my Sis Yao, my Sis Yao." Lin Jiege turned to look at Xia Shangzhou and saw that the latter was engrossed in singing the lyrics on his laptop. Lin Jiege stared at Xia Shangzhou for 2 seconds before retracting his gaze. He pretended to be absent-minded as he fixed his hair in front of the mirror for a while. Then he sat back on the chair and picked up his phone. He opened the photo album and stared at the screenshot for a while before sending it to Xia Shangzhou. Following a ding-dong sound from Xia Shangzhou's phone, Lin Jiege began typing on the keyboard on the screen. "Do you see that? If we live together. If we die together. Also, there's something I forgot to tell you. Yao loves ice cream is from G University. First year English department. 19 years old, 165 centimeters tall. You don't know any of this, right?" Chapter 278. After sending several messages in a single breath, Lin Jiege suddenly felt a lot better. So what if he drove Yao loves ice cream on a motorbike? So what if he interacted with Yao Loves Ice Cream frequently in his moments? Didn't he know as much about Yao Loves Ice Cream as he did? Xia Shangzhou, who had been singing to the side, was completely silent. After sending all of the messages, Lin Jiege shot a glance at Xia Shangzhou, who was seated by the side, and saw a slight frown on the latter's forehead as he stared at the screen of his phone with a look of deep resentment on his face. Only then did Lin Jiege feel a little better. Xia Shangzhou still hadn't replied to Lin Jiege's message. Paying it no heed, Lin Jiege switched off his computer, grabbed a book and prepared to head to bed. But just as he was about to stand up with his phone and book in hand, Xia Shangzhou, who had been staring at his phone for a long time, suddenly took off his earphones and turned to Lin Jiege. "Boss." Lin Jiege didn't pay much attention to Xia Shangzhou, so he didn't even bother to look at him. With a simple he walked over to his bed. But barely after he took 2 steps, Xia Shangzhou spoke up once more. This time his tone was much more solemn than before. "Boss, I need to talk to you." Noticing that there was something wrong with Xia Shangzhou's tone, Lin Jiege halted his movements and turned to look at Xia Shangzhou. Xia Shangzhou usually loved to smile, but at this moment, there wasn't the slightest hint of a smile on his face. A slight frown appeared on Lin Jiege's forehead. Instead of his nonchalant attitude earlier, he looked at Xia Shangzhou with a calm gesturing for him to speak. Staring straight into Lin Jiege's eyes, Xia Shangzhou gulped down a mouthful of saliva before speaking up. "Boss, I don't think what you did was right. What did I do wrong?" Lin Jiege frowned in incomprehension, but he didn't say a word. He patiently waited for Xia Shangzhou to continue. "Xia Shangzhou, boss, you already have little Junior, so why are you still hogging Sis Yao? Since when did he have soft bun and big white chubby?" Baffling. Lin Jiege's frown deepened. "Boss, when little Junior was bullied by campus farce Qin, you immediately went to the forum to defend her. At that time you were very angry. You are not very approachable, but your temper is not that scary. That was the first time I saw you so angry because of a girl. Also, when you saw Han Jing confessing to Junior, you were very unhappy. You even called the police and asked them to take Han Jing away on the pretext of disturbing the public. You even splashed a basin of water on him. Anyway, there are a lot of things that I can't think of in such a short amount of time. Let's not talk about other things. Let's just talk about what happened a few days ago. Little Junior was in a bad mood and you sent me and little Lai Lai a message asking us to go to KTV to cheer her up. I've never seen you so concerned about a girl before. In any case, since you're already treating little Junior this way, why are you still flirting with Sis Yao?" Lin Jiege didn't remain silent any longer. "When did I flirt with Yao? Did Xia Shangzhou's brain go haywire because of what he'd said? What nonsense are you spouting? Why aren't you flirting with Sis Yao? Do you dare to say that dying together with Sis Yao in the game isn't considered flirting with Sis Yao? Also, what's wrong with me riding a motorcycle with Sis Yao? Why must you compare yourself to me?" The more Xia Shangzhou spoke, the more incisive his words became. "Boss, you already have a little Junior, so why are you still flirting with Sis Yao? Don't you think that you're going overboard? A little Junior that I like? Soft bun that I like. I like soft bun." Chapter 279. The little Junior he likes. The soft bun he likes. He likes soft bun. As these 3 questions flashed across Lin Jiege's mind, a row of dumbfounded question marks appeared before his eyes. It took a long while before Lin Jiege realized what Xia Shangzhou was talking about. Is there something wrong with Xia Shangzhou's head? He actually said that he likes Shi Yao. Without thinking too much about it, Lin Jiege replied to Xia Shangzhou, "You're spouting nonsense." But halfway through his words, Lin Jiege abruptly came to a halt. He had no idea what was wrong with him, but he suddenly felt a little guilty, such that his words sounded a lot less confident than before. "What nonsense are you spouting?" "I'm not spouting nonsense. I have my words backed up by facts." As Xia Shangzhou spoke, he pointed to Lu Benlai, who was reading a book on his bed, and said, "Boss, if you don't believe me, you can ask little Lai Lai and see if he agrees with what I just said." Lu Benlai, who had been dragged into this mess for no reason, was so frightened that his hands trembled and he nearly dropped his book. If you want to talk to boss, just do it. Why do you have to drag me into it?" Lu Benlai chose to focus on his book, so he didn't hear anything at all. "Little Lai Lai, Lu Benlai? However, Xia Shangzhou didn't let Lu Benlai off just like that. He continued to call out Lu Benlai's name louder and louder, and when he noticed that Lu Benlai was ignoring him, he even reached out to tug at Lu Benlai's pants, nearly ripping them off. Lu Benlai hurriedly pulled down his pants and sat up with a confused look on his face. What's wrong? Xia Shangzhou, little Lai Lai, tell me, am I right? Lu Benlai blinked his eyes in confusion. What did you just say? I was reading a novel, so I didn't hear anything. You're lying. Don't think that I didn't see you sneaking glances at me and boss. Xia Shangzhou exposed Lu Benlai's act without any hesitation. Lu Benlai still wanted to play dumb, but before he could say anything, Lin Jierge had already calmly looked at him and said, "Speak." Lu Benlai gritted his teeth as he swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. At the same time, he cursed Xia Shangzhou 18 times in his heart. The heck, you never think of me when there's good things and you never let me off when there's bad things. Lu Benlai's mind raced for a moment before he finally spoke up with a smile. In order to avoid drawing fire onto himself, he intentionally spoke in a roundabout manner. Everyone is different. Take me for example. Ever since I got my wife, I've never privately chatted with other girls. Of course, this includes Sixiao as well. But in the game, I still take good care of Sixiao. After all, she's the only girl among the four of us, so it's only right for me to take care of her. I do it purely out of friendship, and I trust that my wife will understand. Lu Benlai Jr. Little Lai Lai Boss Lai Lai Shi Yao and Yao Yang Lai Lu Mo Yao 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 Yang Yao I Lai I and Yu Yao I Yang Yao Lai, Ya? Yao Yang Yao Yao Yen Zhang Long Yao Yao is Yen of Lai of Lun of Yen, with said Zhou my goddess? Of Yang was La Lu said with Shi Lin Lin Lu. Chapter 280. Had it been in the past, be it Lu Benlai or Xia Shangzhou, Lin Jierge's expression would always ease up as soon as they changed their words. But this time, even after Xia Shangzhou changed his words, the frown on Lin Jierge's forehead still deepened. Sensing that something was amiss, Lu Benlai picked up his book and flipped through the pages before lying back down on his bed. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll be going back to reading my book. Unlike Lu Benlai, Xia Shangzhou didn't nimbly dodge Lin Jierge's gaze. Instead, he stood on the spot and stared intently at Lin Jierge's face for a moment before speaking up warily. Boss, you can't be thinking of snatching my Sixiao away from me, right? It was hard to tell what was going on with Lin Jierge, but right after Xia Shangzhou said those words, Lin Jierge suddenly strode over to the door and forcefully turned off the lights in the dormitory room. With a particularly awful tone, he said, "Go to sleep," before climbing onto his bed, pulled the blanket over his head and lay there motionless. In an instant, the dormitory room fell into a pitch-black silence. Unwilling to give up, Xia Shangzhou tried to continue the conversation with Lin Jierge, but he barely managed to utter the word "boss" before Lu Benlai grabbed him. Xia Shangzhou subconsciously wanted to ask Lu Benlai what he was doing. As if reading Xia Shangzhou's thoughts, Lu Benlai pulled him onto his bed and covered his mouth forcefully. Ignoring Xia Shangzhou's struggle, Lu Benlai took out his phone, typed a line of words on his notebook and passed it to Xia Shangzhou. "Are you stupid? Can't you see that there's something wrong with our boss?" After Xia Shangzhou was done reading, Lu Benlai continued typing. "Can't you tell? Our boss doesn't realize that he's in love with little Junior at all? If you believe me, you'd better not provoke our boss right now." Xia Shangzhou widened his eyes in shock. He instinctively wanted to speak up, but Lu Benlai covered his mouth tightly once more. Only then did Xia Shangzhou realize what was going on. He pointed to Lu Benlai's phone, gesturing for the latter to lend it to him. Understanding his intentions, Lu Benlai passed the phone over to Xia Shangzhou. Imitating Lu Benlai's actions, Xia Shangzhou typed on his notebook. "How is that possible? Boss isn't a fool. How could he not know whether he likes it or not?" After reading those words, Lu Benlai snatched the phone from Zhang Xian's hands and said, "The onlooker sees the game better than the onlooker. Do you understand? Besides, boss isn't a womanizer. He must have his reasons for doing this. Give him some time. If you force him too much, it will affect the relationship between brothers. So, grandson, go to sleep now." Before Lu Benlai could finish his words, Xia Shangzhou had already snatched his phone away. "You're the one who's my grandson. Be more polite when you speak to me." In the blink of an eye, the phone was already in Lu Benlei's hands. If only I knew that you were such a despicable person, I wouldn't have stopped you earlier. I would have just watched you die quietly. The two of them held onto their phones and argued with each other for a while before going back to their respective beds. Without the light from Lu Benlei's phone, the dormitory room seemed even darker and it seemed even quieter. This kind of atmosphere made it easy for people to fall asleep. Not too long later, Lu Benlei and Xia Shangzhou fell asleep. Asking her about it was tantamount to tearing open her scars. Other than his sister, who else could he ask? Lin Jade shot a glance at the two sleeping single dogs by the side before deciding to give up. Instead, he turned to the only person in the dormitory who had a girlfriend, Song Chaoshi, and asked, "How does it feel to like someone?" Song Chaoshi instantly replied, "I want to sleep with her." "Want to sleep with her?" Lin Jia's face stiffened a little. Song Chaoshi replied, "Sleep is a verb. Verbs." Lin Jiaj didn't respond to Song Chaoshi's message. With a reddened face, he put down his phone. The one who was more unreliable than the netizens was his sister. And the one who was even more unreliable than his sister was probably Song Chaoshi. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.